Today I have the Amazfit Bip 5, which is Amazfit's new watch in their Essential series. This one retails for $89 in the United States. In this video I'll go over the design, the features, some pros and cons, and give you a few tips along the way. By then you'll be sick of me, and I'll beg you to subscribe and like and share, and then we'll end the video. So try to stay tuned to the end. So if this is the first time you're finding the channel, welcome. I appreciate you watching. Thank you for my subscribers and my returning viewers. I really appreciate the support. So let's get right into it. Let me talk about the description first. When a company makes their watch, they usually tell you it's polycarbonate or a special reinforced something or other. But Amazfit calls this one like it is, plastic. So the back of this is plastic and it feels plasticky, but that's probably okay. I never broke the back of the watch. That's not usually exposed, so that's usually not such a durability issue, and it does keep the watch light at 26 grams. The bad is that the front screen is still tempered glass. Amazfit does that with a lot of their watches, which I don't really like, because this is the part that gets scratched easy. You could crack it. If you do get this watch, get a screen protector or just be careful with it. And so you get one button on the side here, and this has two functions, a quick press and then a long press, so you can get two different things out of that. To customize that side button, you just swipe down here, hit settings, and then we're going to go into our preferences here, and then we're going to go right down here to long press side button. Just click on that. And then this is the options you have. Basically all the apps that you have, you could have a quick access to. Now the only thing is this is set up by default to Alexa. Just keep in mind, if you do take Alexa off on this long press function, then I don't believe there's any other way to access Alexa. This is rated as IP68, and I'll get into more about that later. The strap here is liquid silicone, like most Amazfit watch bands, or many of them, and this is very comfortable, very soft. It is a standard 22mm band, so you could just push these pins in here, take this out, and put any band that you want in here, which is really great. So the only thing I don't like about the band is that you have to tuck it underneath here, and I just don't like that. I don't like that design, but other than that, it's a very comfortable band. Okay, the watch does come in only one size, but it does come in three colors, the soft black, the cream white, which is the one here, and a pastel pink. Now, great for this price is that you actually get a microphone over here, and you get a speaker. The Amazfit Cheetah, which is a $229 product, doesn't have a speaker. So for $89, that's pretty cool that they included the mic and the speaker on this thing. I'm going to make another video for the Bip 5 where I'll show you how to customize everything that can be customized. So subscribe and stay tuned. Amazfit is actually very good with allowing quite a bit of personalization on the watches. They did get rid of a couple of things on this, probably to keep it at a certain price point. But I'll show you how to do all this stuff, and I'll link the customization video in the description. Okay, so this is the display. It's a large 1.91-inch screen, but it's a TFT, not AMOLED display, which is just a little disappointing, but again, they got to cut corners somewhere. It is anti-glare and anti-fingerprint, and the anti-glare works kind of good, but, not perfect, as you can see here. Now, this is, you can see the watch face here, and it looks pretty sharp, but I'll just show you here the other watches. This is the one that's on all the promos for Amazfit, and as you see on all the, the website and everything, that's the basic one there. And it does hide the bezels pretty well. But let me just show you another watch face so I could show you the bezels real easily. Right here. So if you look at that one, that really just fills out the screen and shows you exactly how thick the bezels are. Not terrible. And you do lose the always-on display on this because it is a TFT panel, not an AMOLED. The resolution is 320 by 380, which gives a PPI of 260. That's a little lower on the spec sheet, but not bad. And the screen is, I thought, very comfortable, very clear. All the little icons and details are very easy to see, so no problems with that. I cannot find the exact nits of brightness on this, but, usually when they don't list it, it's not that great. But this, I had no problem seeing this. Even in direct sunlight, I had no problem. And inside, I usually keep the brightness even down, almost to the lowest it can be, and it's still very visible. So I think it's a great screen for the price. It is just tempered glass, so just keep that in mind. You got to be a little cautious with that. There's not a lot of icon themes you can change on here, or different color changes, or styles, or anything like that. But you can change the app layout. So right now it's set for classic. So there's the icons and then the app description next to it. If you don't like that and you're like, I don't know, it's a little more modern looking, but a little harder to use because you have to know what all the icons are. If you just go in here and we're going to go down a little bit to list style, we get the 9-box grid, or the classic. Again, I have it as the classic now. The 9-box grid gives you this. And again, kind of a little cleaner look, but then you have to know what all the icons are. So that's up to you to decide which one you like. So let me just show you some basic navigation on the watch so you can see what it is before you buy this thing. So you just swipe down, you get your control center up here, and there's a bunch of icons on here. Basically, you could swipe over if you have more of them, and this gives you your settings, your brightness, your theater mode, your do not disturb, your sleep screen, your calendar, all that kind of stuff. Your flashlight. All those things are in the kind of quick toggles, or they call it the control center. Just swiping down. Now, if you swipe up, you get your notifications. Then if you swipe this way, you get your shortcut cards, which kind of gives you just kind of a list of stuff for the day, your weather, your music, your PAI, your activities, your sleep tracking, and all this could be modified if you'd like. And then if you scroll this way, you get into your widgets. But if you keep going across here, it'll come back. It's like an infinite loop. And then we get back into the shortcuts here that we just went through. And then again, the home screen, and then back to the widgets again. If you're at some sort of widget here or some other display, you just hit the button, it takes you back to home. And then if you're at home and you hit the button, you get into the app list, which I showed you before. And then if you long press right now, it's set to open up Alexa. So I could not find the exact specs on this, the RAM and the chipset and things like that. That's probably because it's not all that impressive. I did have an initial stutter when I unboxed the video that I showed you, and since then, I haven't had any issues, really no stuttering or anything like that. This is very smooth, no problems with that since that initial setup thing, which again might have just been the software updating or whatever. Now, again, it's IP68, which means that technically it means that it's water resistant in fresh water to a maximum depth of 1.5 meters for up to 30 minutes. Again, keep in mind that's fresh water. Previous Amazfit watches and bands had swimming exercises in the workout list. This one doesn't. It does have sports like outdoor rowing and water skiing and stuff like that, but not actual swimming. And it does not say anything about water pressure, which is usually listed as the atmospheres. So, the direct water spray from a shower or from swimming or something like that with extra pressure might cause some problems with the watch. So you've been warned. This might just be a software connection thing. I'm not sure. But you do have the music app on here. You can't add music to the watch. But I had this, the music app, which is here. And now when I had music playing on my watch, it wouldn't always show the music that was here until kind of the next song played, and then it would sort of reset and show the album art, and then you could control the volume and next track, previous track, all that kind of stuff. But with a couple of music apps I had, every once in a while it just didn't update to the next song, which was kind of weird. I don't know why that happened. Again, no other glitches that I've noticed, but with the music app, it is a lot smoother on other Amazfit watches. I'm not sure exactly if it's a Bluetooth issue or a software issue or what, but that was one problem I did encounter. I was a little disappointed on how well you can control your music through the watch. It just wasn't all that great. Okay, so let's talk about what sensors are on here. They got the price down to $89. Let's see how they did it, what they left out. So there's no NFC on this, so there's no mobile payments on here. You can store your membership cards and club cards on here. That will basically just show up a QR code on your watch, and then someone can scan it, like if you're going to the gym or something like that. The limit is 20 membership cards on that. I don't really use that, but it's a nice option. If you have your membership cards digitally stored on your phone, at least you don't have to pull out your phone and show it. You could just use your watch, and if you had a card in your wallet or something like that, again, you don't have to take it out. You could just use the watch for that. There's no Wi-Fi on this, but it does have the latest Bluetooth, which is 5.3. They don't have an auto dimming on here, which is all right for me because the Amazfit watches, I don't like their auto dimming. I think it's too aggressive and it makes the watch too dim depending on the environment that you're in. So I usually set the brightness manually anyway, so I'm not a big fan of the auto dimming on the Amazfit watches. On the other watches, I really like it. A couple other things they took out are there's no barometer on here and there's no geomagnetic sensor, so there's no compass. That's what that means. Now, it does have the usual fitness features on here. So it does have the 24-hour heart rate monitoring, 24-hour SpO2 monitoring, and stress level monitoring. It also detects the breathing rate, but only when you're sleeping. And if you do get a high stress level, it will give you some breathing exercises to do to relax you, hopefully. So it does have high and low heart rate warnings, and it also does have a low SpO2 warning. It has a one-tap measurement, which gives you the heart rate, stress, and SpO2 all at once, and that takes 45 seconds to get. So the watch does have a PAI assessment, and basically what this is, it keeps track of your last 7 days and gives you a score of your activity. And it keeps track of, your heart rate and duration and intensity and things like that. And it comes with a score for the day, and it tries to get, and your goal is to get to 100. So if you're just trying to get to 10,000 steps every day, sometimes that's hard because if you miss a day or, a long day at work or you're tired, that's kind of a little demotivating sometimes. So with the 7-day periods, even if you have a couple of bad days, you can still keep active and still get to 100, hopefully. But it does take a little work. And I feel like they made it a little harder, but that might just be me. So for the sleep tracking, again, it has the usual Amazfit software for this. It does track light sleep, deep sleep, REM, and awake times, and it does track naps. It does give you a sleep score too, and I thought it tracked things pretty consistently, my sleep time and wake up time, and it did a couple of nights lately. Actually, I've been up for an hour or two in the night, and it actually kept track of that very accurately, I think. And the only thing is it does give you a sleep score, and sometimes the sleep score is a little off. Sometimes I was getting a sleep score of 90 or something like that, but I was up for an hour during the night. I'm not sure what algorithm they use for the sleep score, but sometimes it didn't seem to reflect exactly how good of a sleep I got. So the battery size on this thing is 300 milliamps, which again is not very impressive, but the Amazfit software is kind of light, so you get more battery life out of it than you think. And how much battery life is it, you ask? Well, for heavy use, Amazfit says 5 days. I got about 4 to 5 days on that, and that was with heart rate tracking on for every minute, 30 minutes of GPS activity every day, which really does kill the battery, and wearing it every night for sleep tracking. And of course, if you're getting a lot of notifications, or if you have the screen on a lot, or you're taking a lot of phone calls with us, obviously your battery will be different. For regular use, Amazfit says 10 days. I got about 8 to 9 days on that, and that was reducing some of the features, the heart rate, down to like every 10 minutes, I think it was. But still wearing it for sleep tracking every night. For me, the battery drain ranged from about 12 to 23% a day, depending on the use. And most of that depended on basically like the GPS activity. That really made a big difference on it. So again, heavy use, 4 to 5 days, and regular use, 8 to 9 days. I think that's pretty reasonable, and that's almost what Amazfit says. You also do have a battery saving mode, which gives you 26 days, but then the watch is just a clock, so that's not very useful. Charging time is about 2 hours. So unfortunately, you still need a proprietary cable to charge this thing, and this is pretty similar to other Amazfit bands. Just a magnetic clip that goes on there. It holds it pretty tightly, so no issues with that, and it is a little short as well. So those are just a couple of negatives on this thing. Some other fitness features on this. It does track your VO2 max, your training load, and your training effect, but the VO2 max is only available for outdoor running. Let me just show you a recent workout, and let me just show you the details that are available here. So let me just find one here that was actually significant. So there we go. And if you scroll over, you get more stuff here. And like I said, it does give you a good amount of data here. So not bad to show you on the watch, right? So Amazfit watches all use the Zepp app, which is fairly basic, but it's laid out well, and it has some good features, and it's easy to navigate, I think, once you kind of know what you're looking for. But there is no third-party apps on there, and the native app selection it has are very limited. The apps don't add a lot of function to the watch. Now it has all the basics. Let me just show you the apps that are here, just so, like I said, if you're trying to decide on buying this thing. And again, the other apps that you could download are not all that helpful. So let me just show you what's available here. And it has all the basics, Find My Phone, the weather, your music, alarm, calendar, timers, stopwatch, all that kind of stuff. But that's where it ends. And then there's a morning update that you get every day. You could toggle that on and off if you'd like, and you could also customize it. But the morning update will give you information about your day, like today's weather, last night's sleep, your current battery level, things like that. And the morning update is just sent to you basically like a text every morning. And again, you could turn that on and off. As I said in the beginning of the video, you get a microphone here and a speaker on this side. So you can take phone calls on this, and you can make phone calls on this. And it sounds pretty clear. It's definitely loud enough. I heard it well. You wouldn't want to have long conversations on it, but it's definitely convenient if your phone is in your bag or pocket or something like that, and you just, your hands are full or something. You can make a quick phone call on this or take a phone call very easily. There's no LTE version on this, so your watch doesn't need to be connected to the phone through Bluetooth, but most times you would have that set up that way anyway. And you could receive texts on this, but you cannot respond to the text with anything other than a canned quick message that you have already set up. And there's no keyboard on here, there's no speech-to-text function, but you can change the customized text, and you could add as many as you want on there. And I'll show you how to do that on my customization video. Let me just show you an example of a phone call and what you will see. Okay, so there's I could answer it, I could mute it, or I could end the phone call. And then if I swipe up, I could get my text. So this is the canned text that I have, and again, you could change this if you want. And but that's really convenient. If someone's calling you and you just want to say, hey, I'll call you back in 5 minutes or something like that, that's really convenient. So I did like the feature of that on an $89 watch. That's pretty good. Another great feature of the Amazfit Bip 5 is that Amazon Alexa is built into this. So it doesn't work in every country, I don't believe, but it does work in the United States. And to access it, you just press and hold the button here. What is the capital of Nevada? So there you go. So the Alexa app is great if you want to set a timer or an alarm or something like that quick, or you want to check out the weather, or just get quick information. So that's great, but you have to hold the button to access it. There is no app on here, and there's no speech to activation on this. And if you have any issues connecting Amazon Alexa, just keep in mind this happened with me. I don't use Amazon Alexa very often, so my phone actually put it into a deep sleep. So when I connected, it would connect for like one try, and then it would go to disconnect because I didn't have my permissions active on there. So just keep that in mind to go into the app settings on your phone and just give permissions and make sure Amazon Alexa is not put to sleep. On this watch, you do get 124 sports modes. There is built-in GPS on the Bip 5, and it does use 4 satellite positioning systems as opposed to like 5 or 6 satellite positioning systems on the higher-end Amazfit products. But the GPS, I thought, worked very well. It did take a little while to lock in sometimes, 5 to 10 seconds sometimes, and I don't really have a lot of trees and buildings around me, so that was a little disappointing. But other than that, once it locked on, it held the connection well, and I didn't have any issues with the tracking on it. The other issue is on some Amazfit products, you were able to customize the GPS, so you could make it more accurate and use more battery, or less accurate and save battery. On this one, there's no way to do that, so there is no customization of the GPS on here. Let me just show you the workouts that are available on here. Again, there's 124 of them, and I'm just going to go to workout. And then you have these, and you just have to, kind of scroll through them. So if we get into more workouts, we're going to click on that, and then you can see here running and walking, cycling, and there's extra workouts under these subcategories. So if you go into dance, then these are all the the dance apps that are on there. So there's definitely a lot of different options, probably too many that you would never use. But the other thing is you can go to settings here. You could add one, you just hit plus, then you could pick which one you want to add there, and that will be on the top selection, so it'll be easy to access that. The other thing you could do is if you hit settings, and walking, maybe I never walk, so I could delete it if I want right over here, and I could move it in my settings. So if I do use it a lot, I could put it up front and move the app so it's right on top there, or I could move it a little lower on the list. And so you can move wherever you want, and then you just click check, and there you go. Now you can auto detect on here 7 sport modes. So the Bip 5 auto detects outdoor running, treadmill, walking, indoor walking, outdoor cycling, rowing machine, and elliptical. And you could turn these on and off if you want. And you could also change the auto detect to be more sensitive, standard, or less sensitive. And I put it on sensitive, and boy, it picks up everything. I mean, if you're just walking, from the parking lot to your car, it'll ask you if you're, going for a walk right now, and it does it in like 2 minutes. So it's very sensitive, too sensitive, because, obviously I'm not really working out, but it will be asking me for workouts throughout the whole day. So the standard mode I think is probably fine, but it's nice that you could adjust it and make it a little more sensitive if it's not picking up enough, or you could kind of make it less sensitive if it's picking up too much. Your fitness data, if you don't want to use the Zepp app, or you want to track your data in another app, you can do that. And here's a list of the other apps that are available, and that they might add more to that in the future. Who knows? For the accuracy, I checked the heart rate, the step count of the GPS compared to my other watches, and it actually came out just perfect. Within 1% of the other watches that I was using. But again, for the GPS, I don't have a lot of tall buildings and trees around me, but it seemed to detect everything pretty well, so I had no issues with it. Also, just note you're not able to add any accessory devices on this. So, if you have a heart strap or, something like that, you're not able to add anything to this watch. So for the watch faces, the website says there's 50 to 70 watch faces, but as of my count and as of this video, there are 74 free watch faces and 174 paid watch faces. And the paid ones usually cost $1 to $3. Now you can customize some complications on these watches, but not much. Maybe you could change like the background color or something like that. And most of the watches don't have a lot of shortcuts, but some of them do. So that means a shortcut means you would tap like the icon. You would think like up here, the battery, if you tap it, you'd get your battery menu, but that doesn't pop up. But if you click the steps, then the steps show up, so that's kind of cool if it has it, but not all the watch faces do. Just keep that in mind. Amazfit also allows you to upload your own photos, and then you can have your watch face of your photo of you or your dog or whatever you want on there. That's a nice customization. I'll show you how to do that on the customization video I'm going to make. Okay, so let's get into the wrap up of the pros and cons of this thing and my recommendations. So the pros, obviously, it's $89. You do get a 1.91-inch screen, and it's bright, it's clear, it's easy to see. You do get, again, 4 or 5 days of heavy use and, 8, 9, 10 days of regular use on here. It does have built-in GPS, which is a nice feature at this price range, and it also does have a speaker and a microphone, and you can use that, to making phone calls with this when you connect it to Bluetooth with your phone, and then also you could use that for Alexa, so that Alexa could actually speak the answer to you instead of showing it on a text on the screen, which is nice. Another customization that I didn't show you, which is kind of new or not available on all the watches, but when you get a notification, it will vibrate and chirp if you want. Or you could have it make just an audible noise with no vibration, or just vibration with no audible noise. So, there is some customization on that. And actually, I kind of like the chirp, just because I sometimes don't always feel the vibrations. So I changed the watch face for you, just to go over the cons. Again, that's the thick bezel that you're looking at. Not terrible, but, thicker than most, probably. It's a TFT screen, so it's not an AMOLED screen, and it is still made out of tempered glass, which is not great. It doesn't have the always-on display anymore, and there is no keyboard to respond to text that you get. The other con is when you get a text, sometimes the emojis will be missing on it, and you don't get photos on this through the text. There's no auto dimmer on here, and you can't add music to the watch. And also a little thing, but when you tap in the screen, it doesn't do anything. So if the screen just goes off, and you tap it, the screen will come on. So that's nice. But if the screen is off for 10 seconds or something like that, and then you go to tap it, it won't turn on at all. So that's just kind of frustrating, because now if I go to tap the screen, it doesn't come on, and I have to hit the button to turn it on, which is, or, raise your wrist to turn it on. And there's no adjustment on that in the settings that I saw. This is, I think, an excellent fitness watch. It has accurate measurements. It does have the PAI assessment that I like. It has great battery life. It's a great price. It does have the built-in GPS. It does have the ability to make phone calls on here. And that covers the basics, I think. It also does give you the built-in Alexa, so if you want a voice assistant, you have it there. And you get a lot for the price. It's also light and comfortable and easy to wear all day. But if you're looking for a true smartwatch, this is probably not it. The Zepp app is good, but it's limited. The native apps that I have don't really add much to the experience. There's no Apple Store on this. There's no Google Play Store or anything like that. So the additional apps are really not all that helpful on this watch. But for $89, I think it really does check most of the boxes. Stay tuned, because my next Bip 5 video, I'll show you how to customize everything that can be customized on this through the watch and through the app. I hope this review was helpful and helped you make a decision on the watch. And if it was helpful, please consider subscribing and liking. And if it wasn't helpful, still consider subscribing and liking. I have other videos that you might like. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video.